वासुदेवाय Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udiraye Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtike Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrachatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Gopika Gopika
राधा कांता नमस्तुते तप्त कंचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी
Rishabhanu Sute
देवी प्रमाणे हरिप्रिय
Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya
भूतले
Srimate
भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन इति नमः
Namaste Saraswati Devi
देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विश
Nirvisesha
शून्यवादी
Shatari
पृष्ठतारिणी
Manchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo
वैष्णवभ्यो नमः नमः
Jai
जय
Shri
श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद
Advaita Gadadha
गदाधारा श्रीवासुदेव गौर भक्त वरंद
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we continue speaking from Srimad Bhagavatam today, from third canto. We are on the third canto and we are on chapter 4, text 19. Before we begin with today's verse, yesterday we were asking that why did the four Kumaras go to Vaikuntha to meet the Lord? So my sister, who hears the recordings also, she was telling me the answer that the four Kumaras, they are Brahmavadis. They are on the platform of the Brahman. But sometimes they go, to Vaikuntha, just like how we go for a stroll, we go to the temple, like that. So they were thinking that the Brahman platform is higher, but they knew that the Krishna also exists, Narayan also exists. They didn't think that they are Narayan. So they do accept that that God is there. And so just to meet the Lord, they had gone. But it's just that they find higher pleasure being on the Brahman platform. That's what they used to think. But once they saw the Lord, then they became pure devotees of the Lord. They understood, wow, personal association of the Lord is much more sweeter, much more pleasurable than being on the Brahman platform. Yeah, and this pastime will come in this third canto itself, in the 15th chapter. So we'll be hearing about it soon.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. So text 19. So yeah, we should thank my sister about it. It's the trouble to find out. Text 19. Iti avedita hardaya mayam sa bhagavan paraha adi deshara vindaksha atma paramam sthitim. When I thus expressed my heartfelt desires unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the lotus-eyed, instructed me about his transcendental situation. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The words Paramam Sthitim are significant in this verse. The Lord's transcendental situation was not even spoken of to Brahma when the 4 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam 2.9.33 to 36 were explained. This transcendental situation comprises his dealings with devotees engaged in transcendental loving service as exhibited at Dwarka and Vrindavan. When the Lord explained his specific transcendental situation, it was meant for Uddhav only, and therefore Uddhav particularly said, Mayam, unto me, although the great sage Maitreya was also sitting there. So here Prabhupada is saying that when Krishna, he spoke of the Chatushloki Bhagavatam to Lord Brahma. The original speaker of Bhagavatam is Sri Krishna himself. He spoke the full Bhagavatam in 4 verses to Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma understood it because he's very highly intelligent, a devotee of the Lord, so he could understand. Then, of course, Brahma spoke it to Narad Muni. Krishna told him, you expand the knowledge. I'm sorry. And then Brahma expanded it to Narad Muni expanded it for Vyasadev to Sukdev Goswami. So at that time, Krishna didn't speak about his personal dealings with his, when he spoke to Brahmaji, he didn't tell him about his personal pastimes with his devotees in Dwarka, in Vrindavan. He didn't tell him about that. And when Krishna is explaining these things, it is for Uddhav only, because that's what Uddhav is, feeling so much appreciation that you didn't even give this knowledge of your personal dealings to Brahmaji, but you're telling me when I am asking you. So such a transcendental situation is hardly understood by those whose devotion is mixed with speculative knowledge or fruitive activities. The Lord's activities in confidential love are very rarely disclosed to the general devotees who are attracted by devotion mixed with knowledge and mysticism. Such activities are the inconceivable pastimes of the Lord. So Krishna sees that if someone is a devotee, yes, he worships Krishna, but he is more towards knowledge. He wants more gyan. What's happening? What's the gyan? What's the situation? Or somebody who's more interested in the mysticism, mystic powers. He does not tell them about his personal pastimes, his most intimate pastimes. Why? Because they're not interested to know about it. They think, okay, trying to gain knowledge, difference between matter and spirit is higher. Or somebody thinks that, or trying to get mystic powers is higher. So Krishna says, Ye yathamam prapadyante tams tatheva bhajami aham. He says that in Bhagavad Gita. As you surrender, that much I reveal. So the people who are more interested in knowledge and mysticism, Krishna does not reveal. But somebody who wants to know really about Krishna, he has a sincere desire to know about Krishna. Then those are the devotees, and then Krishna reveals his pastimes to them. As we always say, same with us. Somebody really wants to know what's our deep emotions, feelings. They take the time to sit down with us, talk to us, instead of putting their own assumptions, then we will reveal themselves. But if somebody is just assuming things, we'll say, anyway, you are not interested to know me, so why shall I tell you about me? Same way, Krishna is a person. He's the supreme person. He's an individual, the most supreme individual, like we are individuals. Same, Krishna is an individual. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. So going on to text 20. Sa evam aradhita padatirthat adhita tatvatma vibodha margaha pranamya padav parivritya devam ihagato ham viraha turatma. I have studied the path of understanding knowledge from my spiritual master, the personality of Godhead, and thus, after circumambulating him, I have come to this place very much aggrieved due to separation. Sri Uddhav's actual life is the direct symbol of the Chatushloki Bhagavatam enunciated first to Brahmaji by the personality of Godhead. These four very great and important verses from Srimad Bhagavatam are particularly taken out by the Mayavadi speculators who construe a different purport to suit their impersonal view of monism. Here is the proper answer to such unauthorized speculators. So here Prabhupada is explaining that the Chatushloki Bhagavatam, the 4 verses of Bhagavatam that Krishna spoke to Brahmaji, the Mayavadis who say that they are God themselves, they like to twist the meaning, misinterpret the meaning of this. The verses of Srimad Bhagavatam are purely theistic science, understandable by the postgraduate students of Bhagavad Gita. The unauthorized, dry speculators are offenders at the lotus feet of the Lord Sri Krishna because they distort the purports of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam to mislead the public and prepare a direct path to the hell known as Andha Tamishra. So Srimad Bhagavatam is a postgraduate study. We are supposed to first understand what's the Bhagavad Gita. Then we can understand what's Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that you're not this body, you are the soul, and your duty is surrender unto me, and I will protect you. I will protect you from all sinful reactions. Don't fear. And how you can surrender unto me? Always think of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances unto me. Offer me a leaf, flower, fruit with love and devotion, or water with love and devotion. So, but if people misunderstand this basic knowledge, they are not able to understand the higher knowledge. Same, if we are not able to understand the knowledge which we are learning in the first grade, because we are not able to understand the subject matter properly, so we will not be able to understand what is being taught in the second grade. Our consciousness is not yet evolved to that degree. So similarly, that because there are some people who like to misrepresent Bhagavad Gita, misinterpret Bhagavad Gita, without telling people the true meaning of Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna is the Supreme Lord and we are parts and parcels. They have so many different meanings which they make. And the destination of such people, the destination is that they will go to the hell known as Andha Tamishra. Why? Because they are taking a very great, misguiding somebody's faith, keeping them away from the Lord, keeping them here still in the material world is a very, very grievous sin to do. Because each of us belongs to Krishna and we are each waiting to go back to Krishna. But if we misguide others, then we are taking that huge karmic reaction on us. And that's why it's called as a stone boat. When we sit in a stone boat, it's surely going to drown. So if we misrepresent the teachings of the scriptures, means we are sitting on a stone boat and we are surely going to drown down to the hellish planets. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 16.20, such envious speculators are without knowledge and are surely condemned life after life. They unnecessarily take shelter of Sripad Shankaracharya, but he was not so drastic as to commit an offense at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. According to Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sripad Shankaracharya preached the Mayavadi philosophy for a particular purpose. So as we were speaking yesterday in the Chaitanya Charitamrita class, what was the role played by Lord Buddha, then by Sripad Shankaracharya, and then Lord Chaitanya? So such a philosophy was necessary to defeat the Buddhist philosophy of the non-existence of the spirit soul, but it was never meant for perpetual acceptance. It was an emergency. Thus, Lord Krishna was accepted by Shankaracharya as the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his commentation on Bhagavad Gita. So Shankaracharya, although he propounded the Mayavad, the impersonalist theory, he propounded it, but he still accepted that Lord Krishna is supreme. He's beyond the material world. He's beyond matter. He's the one who brought out this philosophy, the impersonalist philosophy. But he still accepted Lord Krishna as the Supreme Lord. But then his followers didn't accept that. Since he was a great devotee of Lord Krishna, he did not dare write any commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, because that would have been a direct offense at the lotus feet of the Lord. But later speculators, in the name of Mayavada philosophy, unnecessarily make their commentary on the Chatushloki Bhagavatam without any bona fide intent. So because people were misusing the Vedas and eating meat everywhere, it was like slaughterhouses, and they were misusing their position. The Brahmanas especially were misusing their position that we are born in a higher caste. And so they started doing atrocious activities to what they called as lower caste. And to again bring a balance in society, Lord Buddha came to teach the principles of goodness. No meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication, just to let people come to the mode of goodness. And to be able to do that, he said, don't accept the Vedas, you just follow me. Everything is zero. When you give up this body, nothing exists. And that is nirvana. But just follow me. But he never spoke anything about who's God. Nobody asked him, and he never spoke about it. He never spoke about the position of the soul or of God. No. Because he's an incarnation of Krishna himself. Then he made the theory as zero, just to let people come to stop being so engaged in so much sinful activities, being so ignorant, to at least let them follow the moral codes of society, come to the mode of goodness at least. Then Krishna, he asked Lord Shiva to come as Shankaracharya to speak this philosophy of impersonalism. There were two reasons. One is to keep the people away, the people who are envious of Krishna and who really don't want to know Krishna. So Krishna also does not like to reveal himself. So to confuse them in their own philosophy, he asked Lord Shiva to come as Shankaracharya, and also to bring the people's faith back in the Vedas, to accept the existence of the spirit soul, so that the stage could be set for Lord Chaitanya to come, where he says, so Lord Buddha said zero, everything's zero after you leave this body. Then Shankaracharya said that there is one, that there is the Brahman, everybody is light. But he brought people's faith back in Vedas. And Lord Chaitanya said, there is simultaneous one and different. We are not God, but we are parts and parcels of God. We are qualitatively one, but quantitatively different. So that was the role of Shankaracharya. And Shankaracharya, towards the end of his life, did say that worship Lord Narayan. Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda, Bhaja Govinda Muda Mate. He was singing that, but his followers don't accept it. And they create their own Mayavad philosophy, saying that they are God. And that is, yes.
I would like to add to what you said about Sri Adi Shankaracharya. He has already also written Krishnashtakam, Pandurangashtakam, I think Jagannatha Shtakam is also written by him.
That's
Yeah,
right.
so he is praising Lord Krishna only. So he is he promoted impersonalism, or what you say, Advaitavad or something, I don't know. But he is saying that Krishna is the supreme. And yeah, he says Bhaj Govindam, Bhaj Govindam. That
Yeah.
is also, that stotra is Charpat Panjarika stotra.
Mm. Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you for sharing. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But his followers don't glorify Krishna.
Yeah, they don't follow, but Lord Adi Shankaracharya, he glorifies Lord Krishna
Yeah.
every time. In his every stotra, you can see.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Thank you for this.
So I just wanted to ask, so wasn't he that powerful that he couldn't impact his devotees?
I'm sorry?
So, like, why his devotees doesn't follow what he said?
Because Krishna reserves the right to be known.
Okay. So his devotees didn't wanted to know Krishna, so they didn't have that qualification.
Yes, because people who are atheistic, actually Mayavad philosophy is atheist philosophy. Because, because if you say that I'm God, means you're not able to accept that there is a superior power than you, that there is, so it's atheism, covered up atheism, not buried, but covered. So in Kali Yuga, there is a lot of atheism and impersonalism going on, and they really don't want to know Krishna. So then Krishna says, okay, you take shelter of this philosophy then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was arranged by Krishna himself, as you said, that from 0 to 1, because from 0 to 2 is very difficult to reach 2.
Exactly.
So that's why you created 1. So that was the purpose that Lord Shiva incarnated.
Yes, that to bring the people's faith back into the Vedas. To bring the people's faith back that, okay, there is a difference between spirit and matter. Like how there are different stages, no? Kindergarten, first grade, then you can hear, like, third grade, like that. So know that foundation.
So to 1 means it's a monism, is it?
The monism is the impersonalist, that everything is one. Okay. Everything is one, that is monism. But Lord Chaitanya, he came to teach there is not one, but there is two.
So that's what Adi Shankaracharya, he taught monism.
That's right.
Correct?
That's right. That's right.
Right.
And then, so reading on, the monastic dry speculation. So, but then his teachings are also not accepted, as just now we were speaking. Sheetal was also saying that he glorified Krishna, but his followers don't accept his proper teachings. They don't accept it in the way he was saying, because he did a lot of word jugglery to just confuse the people in the words,
Right.
He can get confused in the words, sometimes. So that's how he confused the people who wanted to be confused. Yeah.
So that was done on purpose.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. For as we just said, for both the reasons. One, to set the stage for Lord Chaitanya to come and speak about pure devotional service. And 2, to keep the non-believers away.
Okay. So we still consider him a great Acharya.
Shankaracharya?
Yeah.
Give him all respect. He's an incarnation of Lord Shiva.
Yeah. Okay. And where is the Sri Sampradaya? That's the different one, right? That's not.
It's the Sampradaya which is coming from Lakshmi Devi.
Okay. So that's not Shankaracharya. Shankaracharya is the Jagannath, the one
He's the author of the Jagannashtakam. Yes.
Yeah, right?
Every time for Lord Jagannath.
Yeah.
Especially during the Rath Yatra. Yes. He's
okay.
Adi Shankaracharya.
Yeah, because I think, and it's the post, because there's still some, when there was the Jagannath Yatra, Adi Shankaracharya came there, right? One of the acharyas from the Parampara came. Is it?
When?
When there was the Rath Yatra, there came.
It's been going on in the society since many, long time. So when are you saying this?
No, this year. when the Jagannath Yatratra was held,
in Puri.
yeah,
And then
Adi Shankaracharya came. So is that a post, right? It's a name of a post.
Adi Shankaracharya came. I don't know I'm not aware of what is this.
Yeah, even I was confused because some Acharya came. Maybe I'll look it again and tell you. And then I asked my husband, he said that this is the post, like a name, like, you know, like how we say that Brahma is the post. So that was a post, and he came, he was the first one to come and offer the Dandvat, and he did the
Yeah, you are right.
parikrama. Because my husband said that it's a post and they keep on changing. If the person passes away, then the other one will come and like who's eligible to be at that post.
हाँ, वो पीठ बोलते हैं उसको.
हाँ.
पीठ, शंकराचार्य की पीठ से उनके representative आते हैं वहाँ.
Yeah, and they are the first one to come and offer the garland to Lord Jagannath.
Or his representative, you mean?
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to say, that it's a post. Like now they have made it a post.
But this person, the Shankaracharya was a person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, he is a person. He is an incarnation of Lord Shiva. You know, for example, if you go further into the Buddhist philosophy also, Lord Buddha, who's the incarnation of Krishna, he was one person. But over the time, Buddhism, then they have, then they made that there are so many Buddhas and somebody can become Buddha and all that. But that is all just the how the teachings get diluted and misrepresented.
Okay, got it. They get bewildered themselves because
Yes.
they don't know the truth already. They're lost.
That's right.
And then they are making the other people's also lost. So then they'll go to hell. Is it that what we are trying to read, right? Because they are,
Bhagavatam is saying.
yeah, because they are bewildering the people also. They are stopping them to reach Krishna.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
what Bhagavatam says.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So the monastic dry speculators have no business in the Srimad Bhagavatam because this particular Vedic literature is forbidden for them by the great author himself. Srila Vyasadeva has definitely forbidden persons engaged in religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and finally salvation from trying to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, which is not meant for them. Bhagavatam 1.1.2. So what happens is there's so many Vedas, right? So Vedas are so vast. Vedas is basically all knowledge. Knowledge means Vedas. And then there are the different Upanishads, Puranas, Itihasas, so many. And then in each of them, there is so much reference to religiosity, sense gratification, economic development, and liberation. So some might deal with all of them or some of them. But Srimad Bhagavatam, why is it called the Amala Puran? It's called the cream. It's called the cream of the essence of all the Vedas. So you churn out all the Vedas, what's the importance in all the Vedas, and then again the cream of it, the essence of it. You know, so it's churned and churned, like how you churn the butter, you churn it. And so it has nothing to do from the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, the first word to the last word of Srimad Bhagavatam is nothing to do with religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, or salvation. It just deals with devotional service, pure devotional service, devotees of the Lord, incarnations of the Lord. So there is no room for anything material in Srimad Bhagavatam, and that's why it's called the Amal Puran. So Sridhar Swami, the great commentator on Srimad Bhagavatam, has definitely forbidden the salvationists or monists to deal in Srimad Bhagavatam. It is not for them. Yet, such unauthorized persons perversely try to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, and thus they commit offenses at the feet of the Lord, which even Sripad Shankaracharya dared not to do. So Shankaracharya also stayed away from Srimad Bhagavatam because he said, if I put an impersonal philosophy, a Mayavadi philosophy on Srimad Bhagavatam, I'm offending the Supreme Lord. Because Bhagavatam is all about the Supreme Lord. So thus they prepare for the continuation of miserable life. It should be particularly noted herein that Uddhav studied the Chatushloki Bhagavatam directly from the Lord, who spoke them first to Brahmaji, and this time the Lord explained more confidentially the self-knowledge mentioned as the Paramam Sthitim. Upon learning such self-knowledge of love, Uddhav felt very much aggrieved by feelings of separation from the Lord. Unless one is awakened to the stage of Uddhav, everlastingly feeling the separation of the Lord in transcendental love, as exhibited by Lord Chaitanya also, one cannot understand the real import of the 4 essential verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. One should not indulge in the unauthorized act of twisting the meaning and thereby putting himself on the dangerous path of offense. So even the great devotees who are the Sridhar Swami is one of the great commentators on Srimad Bhagavatam, and Srila Prabhupada's many of the purports he's taken from the commentary of Sridhar Swami. You see, all the purports that Srila Prabhupada writes, he's done great research. He's gone into the purports, the commentaries written by the previous acharyas. And so the acharyas, they forbid the Mayavadis to comment on Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? Just to save them. Because the devotees are always very, very compassionate to everyone. So they don't want the Mayavadis to go down to this Tamishara. What hell did we hear? The Andha Tamishra hell. They don't want them to go there. That's why they say, you please don't comment on Srimad Bhagavatam because it's beyond your capacity. And people who still insist to do so, then they are creating a stone boat for their own self. Is that okay? And then, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay. And here Prabhupada is saying that we should have this feeling of separation for the Lord. We should try to have, and then the more we try to, increase this separation, we can have this separation the more we hear and chant. The more we hear and chant, the more we will have that separation. Then the more we will be able to understand Bhagavatam. Sorry, I changed the page. So we can stop here for today. Thank you so much for joining in. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.